Picture this. It's 2019, you put money down on a pre-con condo, you stretch to make the deposit, you watch the prices climb, and you felt like you've made the smartest investment in your life. Now, fast forward to 2025, and that unit that you were counting on to build equity, it's now worth less than you paid. You can't sell it without taking a hit. You can't rent it for enough to even cover the mortgage and the condo fees. And with today's interest rates, even qualifying for financing has become a mountain to climb. Now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, and this is not a one-off story. This is happening to thousands of people across Ontario, even Canada. And we're facing a moment where one of the hottest real estate segments in the country is undergoing a total reset, and we actually need to talk about it. As always, I'm Alex. I'm a real estate agent. I'm a mortgage broker, and I help people invest in multiplex properties across the GTA. If you want to have a chat, click the link in my bio and we can have a quick 15-minute chat. Now, let's get into what's really happening across Ontario's condo market and Canada's condo market for that matter. And most importantly, what you should be doing to protect yourself or take advantage of the shift. For most of the last decade, condos were the clear entry point for buyers. The affordable way to get into the market when detached homes were actually out of reach. They also became a powerful tool for investors because pre-con units were selling out before developers even launched the formal listings. And it seemed like you couldn't lose on these types of investment properties in the pre-con sector. Interest rates were low, immigration was high, and the rental demand felt bulletproof. Now, developers responded by building aggressively. We know that. There's so many cranes across the city. Projects went up in Toronto, Mississauga, Vaughan, Hamilton, and of course here in Oakville if you're really looking at north of Dundas. But the real fuel behind the boom wasn't just the demand, it was the cheap cost of borrowing. And when that changed, the entire equation changed with it. Now, the Bank of Canada's rapid rate increases a few years ago flipped the investment math basically overnight. The investors who secured a 1.9% interest rate on a mortgage in 2021 might have been paying $2,200 a month for that mortgage. And today, let's say you're getting around 4.5%. That's about $3,000, give or take. And before you add up all those fees, remember you have to add in the condo fees and the property taxes. And that brings monthly ownership for a simple condo above $4,000, while the average rent on a comparable one-bedroom unit in downtown Toronto is hovering, let's say, around $2,500. Now that's a $1,500 a month shortfall every single month. And remember, these aren't luxury units. These are standard investor-grade condos that used to make financial sense. And investors who expected strong appreciation are now staring at negative equity. And worse, many of them can't even close on the units because their mortgage approvals were based on the 2021 rates. They've expired. And lenders today, they're reassessing those same deals at much higher rates and much lower appraised values. And that's slashing buyer qualifications by like 25% easy. If the appraisal comes back below the original purchase price, you, the buyer or the investor, are on the hook to make up the difference. Some buyers are facing $100,000 or more in additional funds just to close on these units. Others are trying to assign the contracts before completion, but demand for assignments are super thin. No one wants to take on all of those closing costs. And many are simply just walking away and losing their deposits and creating more instability for the pre-con space. This pressure isn't just hurting individual buyers, it's also forcing developers to make big changes. Some are delaying projects or even canceling them entirely. Others are offering aggressive incentives just to get the units sold. Free parking, waived maintenance fees, furniture packaging. But despite these offers, many developers are still sitting on unsold inventory. Construction financing is getting harder to secure and lenders are more cautious, and the projects with weaker pre-sales are just being put on ice. That slowdown might not feel like a problem today, but it's setting us up for a different kind of crunch in years ahead. Because while supply is abundant right now, we all know it's oversaturated right now in the condo market with listings, it could tighten up drastically in 2 or 3 years, especially as immigration continues and household formation rises. Now, let's talk about the renters because we need renters as investors. Because while they're not directly exposed to ownership risks, they're not exactly winning either. Rentals have cooled slightly since the peak, but they are historically expensive. A one-bedroom condo in Toronto, Mississauga, Oakville is easy $2,200 to $2,500 a month. That eats up nearly half of the take-home income for someone earning a measly $60,000 a year. Affordability is brutal right now, and with fewer units coming down the pipeline, it may not improve anytime soon. Now, here's the piece that often gets missed. When condo owners can't sell, they can't move up. That means fewer buyers for townhomes, fewer buyers for detached homes, and just a slower market overall. We're seeing longer days on market, more price cuts, and a growing number of power of sale listings, especially among investor-owned condos. Landlords are also dropping rents or offering incentives to fill units. Remember, condos are the first ring on the property ladder, and if that ring breaks, the whole ladder becomes harder to climb. So where do we actually go from here? This isn't just a correction. This is a full reset on how we think about condo ownership, especially as an investment vessel. But that's not all bad news. In fact, this moment could become one of the biggest opportunities for serious buyers who are patient, strategic, and focused on long-term value. Now, if you already own a condo that's bleeding cash every month, don't panic, okay? Sit down and do a full financial review. Can you refinance? Is the value there to do so? Can you consolidate higher debt into your lower or total monthly output? Sometimes restructuring your mortgage or extending amortization can buy you the breathing room. While people don't usually like to extend amortization, if you absolutely need to, you can try to do so. And if you're an investor looking to buy, this is the time to go back and look at the basics. Look for the cash flow, not the appreciation. Focus on well-run buildings with strong financials and low operating costs and low maintenance fees. Stick to neighborhoods that have long-term growth potential. Think transit, think schools, think employment hubs, not just the hype of the building. And if you're a renter thinking about ownership, this is your moment to get ready, because these next 6 months could really tell a huge story with the condo market. With inventory super high, slower sales, and less competition, buyers actually have the leverage right now in the condo market that we haven't seen. So get pre-approved, understand what you can carry, track the market, and not just the headlines. And when rates start to fall even more, because let's be honest, we hope they will, but we can't predict the future, you want to be in the perfect position to act. Now, what's happening in the Ontario's condo market and Canadian condo market is a wake-up call. Real estate isn't just about timing the market, it's about staying in long enough and smart enough to outlast these types of cycles. And that starts with understanding what exactly is going on, not just the noise in the headlines. If you want to walk through your options, whether you're struggling with a condo purchase on the pre-construction side, thinking about refinancing, or planning your next investment, book a call with me in the link in the description, and I can help you build a strategy that actually works no matter what you're doing. And if you're trying to offload a condo because you can't hold it right now, we can also talk about that strategy. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe so I can keep delivering the latest real estate insights to people like you out there. I'm Alex, and thanks for watching.